Hey guys, Bryce here. So we just landed in Forestford and Fort Lauderdale. Now we're in Miami. Um, it's been a really good day so far. It was from Fort Lauderdale to Miami. It's about an hour long drive. Oh, cool! There's a pool on like the ninth floor of this thing in like a cabana. So it's like a dance kind of conference kind of thing. It's looking really kind of good to start. Waiting for one of my friends to kind of come. We're about to go out to lunch, but the thing that I was hearing today and just learning is like people really struggle when it comes to following a process with business growth. So a lot of people like they're really focused on like processes and procedures when it comes to actually doing the accounting work, but then they kind of run their marketing and their sales just kind of lackadaisical. Every single thing that you do needs to have some sort of process. It has to have a process. Because if you have a process, you can generally follow it. It can be very consistent, and it can be something that you do over and over and over again. Because if it's just random stuff you do every single time that you're trying to get clients, you're never going to be able to have that consistency on your business, consistency inside of your business. Now, remember the key when it comes to this is consistency. We have to be able to stack results over and over again, anywhere between about 5 to 20 times in order to go reach six figures in your business. Some people it's going to be five clients because they can get clients for 2,000, 3,000 a month. Some people, if you get clients only for $500 a month, it's going to take a little bit, a little bit more consistency. But either way, you have to have your process down because let's say that you want to grow your business, or let's say you lose one client. You have to know what you did every single time to go and get a client in order to replace that client very quickly. But if you're just kind of just doing lackadaisical stuff and it's just like one day you do this, another day you do this, one week you do that, one month you do that, then you take a month or two off, you're not going to be able to really build any traction inside of your business. And you might get lucky and get like one, two, maybe three clients, but you're not going to reach six figures doing like that. So if you really want to get to doing like six figures, you have to really have good process. Now, whenever I'm thinking of a process, I'm always thinking, let's say like sales. So whenever I'm doing sales, I have my process. So I think of sales in terms of really three parts. So part number one is the question and answer. So I'm always asking a set of questions. Now I have a set of like main questions that I ask, and I also have a set of like expandable questions. So what that means is I try and do my consultation call in the shortest time period possible. And I have a couple questions where if the person answers it correctly, it's like they pass with flying colors. If they answer incorrectly, then I ask a follow-up question. I ask another follow-up question. The consultation call can get a lot longer because every single question is my chance to kind of understand how a person sees the world and like what are some of their misconceptions about like our service. Like, do they think that they can just hire anyone to do a bookkeeping? Do they think that they can have their office admin do it? Have they ever worked with like a bookkeeper before? Do they feel that they should pay their bookkeeper pennies? Right? The more and more of those questions they get wrong, the more objection handling we have to be doing and the more pre-handling we do. But I know every single time exactly what the process and order of operations is. So my consultation calls feel almost exactly the same every single time. Whereas most people, what happens is you get on the phone, you're like, tell me what you have going on with your business. And then they just spew this stream of consciousness that sometimes is relevant to what you're asking, sometimes it's not relevant to what you're asking. It just kind of depends, right? And then they might ask you a bunch of questions about your background, different things like that. And it's like, well, one day you do your consultation call where you ask a question, you talk about your background, you describe your service, you try and beg them to like get started with you. Sometimes they might have like a long-winded conversation, and then the last 5 minutes they ask what your price is, right? They just like do it before you even presented what you have. And it's just like just randomized. So by you having a process, it makes it more consistent. Because if you just do these random calls, you don't know why a person didn't close. Was it that it was your objection handling was off? Was it that the person was broke? Was it that they just didn't see the value in it because they asked you price 3 minutes into the conversation and you said your price before you even presented any of the value? Right? So you just don't know. So by having a process, it allows me to be able to know exactly why did a person not get started? Why did a person not work? And if they said like maybe they're thinking about getting started, like how long will that take on average based on the response to the answers that they said for them to get started doing whatever we're selling at the moment in time? So that's just one example of process. The second aspect of the process is going to be really your presentation. So really presenting what you have, really building the value, answering any like random clarifying questions that might come up, and then just making sure the person fully understands like why they should be working with you in the time frames that you're asking at the price point you're asking for with your current level of experience. After that, it's really about, your objection handling. Now, if you do the first two steps right, you shouldn't have to do any like objection handling. It just might be more like clarifying questions that are still kind of just unresolved, and then just really understanding how to move the conversation forward towards them wanting to work with you or getting started on the call. Either way is good. It just really depends. But the same thing is like with your marketing, right? So you have to be able to start having more processes. Okay, and I know that doing process like marketing and sales might not be the most fun, right? If you're more focused on like accounting work, oftentimes people like the better people get at accounting work, in a lot of cases the worse they get at like sales and marketing skill sets. And that doesn't have to be true. I just know like for most people when they're starting out, that's just what generally happens because you specialize in the stuff that you really like doing. So over time you get better and better and better, and you're able to be better at both of those services at the same time. It's an interesting room. Has a flower pattern, giant bed, picture. I'm going to be filming a couple different videos from different angles inside of this room. Then I'm going to go into the lobby. I might take one from the pool. I don't think you can see outside. It's too bright. But yeah, guys, this business doesn't have to be challenging. It's just most people make it challenging because they only want to do what's easy for them. If you do what's easy, your life is going to be hard. Just point blank simple. But if you do what's hard, your life is going to be easy. All right, guys, I got to get going. I'll talk to you soon.